Hello dear students, in this video I am going to discuss some multiple choice questions on second PUC topic environmental issues. So let us go for the questions. Which one of the following is a most efficient device to eliminate particulate matters from the industrial emissions? And the options are cyclonic separators, trajectory separators, incineration, electrostatic precipitator. So here the question is with respect to elimination of particulate matter. So particulate matters which are emitted from different industries, they are responsible for air pollution, and the efficient method to remove these particulate matter from the air or the industrial emission is with the help of electrostatic precipitator. Electrostatic precipitator can remove 99% of particulate matter present in the exhaust from thermal power plant. So for this question, the right answer is option D. So moving to the next question. The amount of organic matter in sewage water can be estimated by option A, measuring oxygen demand, weight of microorganisms, salt analysis, and calorimetry. So these are the options for the given question. So here the question is with respect to amount of organic matter in sewage water. Then what is this sewage? Sewage is municipal waste water containing high amount of human excreta. When municipal waste water is rich in human excreta, it is considered as sewage, and amount of organic matter in the sewage can be measured with the help of oxygen demand, biological oxygen demand, BOD. The domestic sewage primarily contains biodegradable organic matter, and this biodegradable organic matter is further decomposed by organisms like bacteria and other microorganisms, and the amount of organic matter in sewage water is measured with respect to its oxygen demand. So more organic matter, if it is dissolved in the sewage water, the BOD values will be high. That indicates water is polluted. That is why values of the BOD determines whether the water is pure or it is impure, especially with respect to the dissolved organic matter. So the right answer for this question is option A. And moving to next one. Presence of large amount of nutrients in water also causes excess growth of planktonic free floating algae called. It is a direct question here. When the nutrient concentration of the water increases, it supports the luxurious growth of planktonic algae on the surface of water, and water gets particular color depending on the type of the algae grown in that water. The nutrient enrichment of the water which supports the growth of planktonic algae, it is called the algal bloom. The pure water don't have any color, but when water is polluted due to nutrients, when it supports the growth of algal bloom, that causes a particular color reflection of the water. So an algal bloom is relatively rapid increase in the population of phytoplanktonic algae in an aquatic system. Typically one species or few species, only one species of the algae may grow in abundance, or the group of the species may grow to contribute the algal bloom and are responsible for, here I have mentioned, discoloration of water resulting from high density pigmented cells. Algae show different colors. Algae are photosynthetic group of plants, and the algae exhibit different colors due to the presence of different pigments. Depending on the pigment which is present in the algal cell, the water body reflects the same color when it is polluted by large amount of nutrients and when it supports the growth of algal bloom. Then coming to the next question. Dash is a cyclical zero waste procedure where waste products from one process are cycled in as nutrients for other processes. So the waste products obtained from one process are cycled as a nutrient for other processes. What is this? The options are eutrophication, greenhouse effect, integrated organic farming and biomagnification. Here eutrophication is nothing but natural aging of the lake due to nutrient enrichment of its water, and greenhouse effect is due to increased concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and biomagnification is related to increase in the concentration of toxicants at successive tropic level. So the answer for this question is option C. What is this integrated organic farming? I hope you remember Ramesh Chandra Dagar, who is very famous in our country for organic farming. The integrated organic farming refers to cylindrical zero waste procedure. Why the term zero waste procedure is used? Because anything which is obtained as waste in one process, it is used as a nutrient for other process. These waste materials are continuously recycled from one cultivation to another cultivation, and this allows maximum utilization of resources, and very important, it increases the efficiency of production. Here the term mentioned is organic farming. That means zero use of chemicals, either as fertilizer or as insecticide or as pesticide. Whatever the materials are used for the purpose of agriculture, they are all of biosource, so that the term is organic farming. Organic farming not only reduces the utilization of chemicals, it also produces very healthy products, and it increases the efficiency of the soil for its production. So the right option for this question is option C. Moving to the next one. Read the following statements. A lake near a village suffered heavy mortality of fishes within a few days. Consider the following reasons for this. The statement is, a lake near a village, it is suffered with heavy mortality of fishes. What is the cause for death of the fishes in that lake? The given options are, lots of urea and phosphate fertilizer were used in the crops in the vicinity. The area was sprayed with DDT by an aircraft. The lake water turned green and stinky. Phytoplankton population in the lake declined initially, thereby greatly reducing the photosynthesis. Which two of the above were the main causes of fish mortality in the lake? Very simple. In a lake, most of the fishes have died. What is the reason? Obviously due to nutrient enrichment of the lake. When nutrient concentration increases in the lake, what happens? It supports the growth of algal bloom. When algal bloom covers the water surface, it creates suffocation for the fishes that will lead to the death of water. So right options are here. The first one is right option. Lots of urea and phosphate fertilizer were used in the crops in its vicinity. That means nearby that lake, most probably the phosphate and urea fertilizer are used by the farmers. They entered into the lake, and here it is very clear. When these nutrients enter into the lake water turn green and stinky. The water gets the green color if and only if it is polluted due to the luxurious growth of algae. So the two statements are clear here, and the right option is option A, where first and third statement are correct with respect to the reason for mortality of fishes. And coming to next one, the poly blend is, what is this poly blend? The options are recycled modified plastic waste used for laying the roads, electronic waste buried in the landfills, plastic film waste to make disinfectants, fine powder of plastic waste used to make the plastic bags. What is poly blend? So this is very interesting term. Through this one, the non-biodegradable pollutant, that is plastic, can be permanently removed, or it can be properly reused. So the answer for this one is option A. The poly blend is recycled modified plastic waste used for laying the roads. What is poly blend? It is mixture of the fine powder of the plastic mixed with the chemical called bitumen. When it is used to lay the roads, it increases the life of roads. Water repellent property of the road will be enhanced if the poly blend is used in the road preparation to lay the roads. And the credit of developing this one goes to Ahmed Khan company, who is belonging to Bangalore. So the answer is option A. Moving to the next question. Fishes die by sewage because of its bad smell. It replaces food material of fishes. It increases competition among the fishes. Carbon dioxide is mixed in large amounts in water. What happens if the fishes are transferred to sewage, or by chance if fishes come to the sewage water, what happens to them? They die. What is the reason for death of the fishes? And the answer is sewage is nothing but, so once already I told this one, municipal wastewater containing large amount of human excreta. All the waste products of the house are combined with the sewage. It is rich in nutrients, it is rich in human excreta, and it is rich in biodegradable organic, dissolvable organic material. Obviously, when organic material gets dissolved in the water, when it is decomposed by different microorganisms, that increases the oxygen competition among the fishes so that they will die. The right answer for this question is option 7. It increases oxygen competition among the fishes because sewage is municipal wastewater containing large amount of human excreta. Fishes die by sewage due to increased oxygen competition among them, which leads to suffocation from low levels of dissolved oxygen in the water. BOD of the water increases so that the available oxygen which is dissolved in the water, it is not sufficient for the fishes, and this competition for the oxygen among the fishes will lead to the death of fishes when they are transferred or when they are present in the sewage. Moving to the next question. Today, the concentration of greenhouse gases is very high because of use of refrigerators, increased conversion of oils and coal, deforestation, option D, all of the above. So why the greenhouse gas concentration is increasing? Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, water vapor, chlorofluorocarbons, ozone depletion is due to chlorofluorocarbons. And why the greenhouse gas concentration is increasing? All because of human activities. The right answer for this one is all of the above. Human activities are responsible for increasing the concentration of greenhouse gases, which include water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide and chlorofluorocarbons. Use of refrigerators, use of air conditioners. Increasing population always demands new habitual areas, and for that the part of the geographical area which is covered under the forest, it is subjected to deforestation, and as the human population increases, the demand for the transport also increases, and to fulfill this demand there will be more combustion of oil and coal. Only one reason for the hazardous effects on the environment is increasing population. So when population increases, human activities increase, and all these are the human activities: use of refrigerator, increased combustion of oils and coal and deforestation. All of them are contributing for increase in the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Then moving to next question. CNG is better than petrol or diesel. Since why the CNG is considered as better fuel than petrol and diesel? The given options are: CNG burns more efficiently, CNG burns completely, CNG cannot be adulterated, and the answer is all of the above. CNG, compressed natural gas, alternate fuel for the vehicles or the transport which are dependent on petrol and diesel. It burns more efficiently, it burns completely without leaving unburnt carbohydrates. Unburnt hydrocarbons, not carbohydrates, unburnt hydrocarbons, and it cannot be adulterated. Quality of the CNG cannot be changed. The petrol and diesel quality can be changed by mixing the sulfur content and by adding some aromatic hydrocarbons in that. But like that, the quality of the CNG cannot be adulterated because it is gas. So CNG reduces the air pollution, though, so that it is better option for the petrol and diesel, especially for the transportation. Then, if the forest cover is reduced to half, what is most likely to happen on a long-term basis? The question is, if the forest cover is reduced to half, already it is half only, what is the most likely to happen on a long-term basis? And the answer is, large areas will become deserts. What is the reason? See, the question is with respect to forest. What is given here? If forest cover is reduced to half, if continuous deforestation occurs, of course, rainfall, the annual precipitation percentage decreases, It leads to soil erosion. When top fertile soil is removed, most of the land area is converted into desert. Long-term forest covers are reduced in a long-term basis. It results in the development of more areas into, conversion of more areas into desert. Next question. Vast tracts of rainforest have been clear cut and burned. This practice has increased atmospheric carbon dioxide levels significantly because forests provide a place for carbon dioxide to be used. Burning of the forest released a large amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Grasslands that replaced the forest can't utilize much carbon dioxide. So what happens if vast tract, that means maximum area of the rainforest have been cleared? So maximum area of the rainforest, if it is cleared, all of the given reasons are correct. The carbon dioxide, forest provides a place for the carbon dioxide because we are only producing the carbon dioxide through our respiration, through the metabolic activities, by burning the fossil fuels, by burning the wood, by running the industries, by running the vehicles. We are contributing the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, but animals cannot absorb the carbon dioxide. Only the plants can absorb the carbon dioxide in the photosynthesis. And by burning the forest also, large amount of carbon dioxide is again released into the atmosphere. Grasses can absorb the carbon dioxide, but percentage of absorption is completely less when compared to the plants which are present in the forest. So levels, carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere will increase due to all the reasons if a large area of rainforest have been clear cut and burned. Then nuclear power stations, even with adequate radiation, safety measures generate. Nuclear power station, atomic fusion and fission are carried out in the nuclear power stations. Even though safety measures are used, but still it produces some side effect on the environment. What are those? The right answer for this one is thermal pollution of water body. What is this? Thermal pollution can occur when water is used as coolant in a nuclear power plant and then it is returned to the aquatic environment as a higher temperature than it is originally. Once the water used in a nuclear power station is released into the environment or any aquatic system, its temperature will be very high compared to the original normal temperature. Thermal pollution can lead to decrease in the dissolved oxygen level in the water and increase biological demand of aquatic organisms for the oxygen. It also produces adverse effect on the aquatic organisms as the water released from the used water released from thermal power plant or nuclear power stations are released into the aquatic environment. In an aquatic system, maximum biomagnification is seen among fishes, microscopic plant, phytoplanktons and zooplanktons. What is biomagnification? It refers to increase in the concentration of toxicants at successive trophic level. Usually in the food chain, when we move from one trophic level to another trophic level, if the toxic substance concentration increases, it is called biomagnification. And biomagnification in the aquatic ecosystem, where we can see the answer is, it is observed, it is seen among the fishes, because in aquatic ecosystem, phytoplanktons first trophic level, zooplanktons second trophic level, and fishes third trophic level. If large fishes are present, it will be the fourth trophic level. So concentration of the toxicant, phytoplankton, whatever it is collected in the phytoplankton body, it will be more in the zooplankton, and the amount of the same toxic substance will increase in the body of fishes. So the answer for this question is option A. The next question. The presence of ozone in the atmosphere of Earth, what is its help to the Earth? The advantageous since it supplies oxygen for people traveling in jets, helps in checking the penetration of ultraviolet rays to the Earth, hinder higher rate of photosynthesis, has been responsible for increasing the average global temperature in the recent years. Ozone depletion is responsible for increase of global temperature in the recent years. But presence of ozone in the atmosphere of Earth, it helps in checking the penetration of ultraviolet rays which are emitted from the sun. It is prevented to reach the Earth's atmosphere because ultraviolet radiations are producing harmful effects on the plants and animals. The photosynthesis rate decreases, animals may suffer from different types of cancer. So it is preventing, ozone layer is preventing the penetration of ultraviolet rays into the Earth's atmosphere which are emitted by the sun. Then last question. Mark the correct statement. The major contribution of greenhouse gases is methane, CH4. Global warming is because of ozone depletion. When organic waste enters into a water body, its BOD increases. So the right answer for this question is, when organic wastes enter into the water body, they increase the biological oxygen demand of the water. So these are the questions that I wanted to discuss. I hope it is clear for you. Thank you.